everyone, this is Lonnie Matthews. I'm back. Decided to put together another video for you as you're still probably sequestered in your home and trying to figure out, what should I be doing as far as my finances is concerned. In my last video, I did share some tips with you about, starting to get your net worth statement together, looking at your expenses and things like that, and just kind of getting a good feel for where your money's going by looking at your bank statements. And I hope that those tips prove to be valuable to you. And if you've done that, you kind of have a clear picture now of your financial situation. One of the things I want you to go back and look at now is look at the things that you've spent money on now compared to what you were spending on prior to this whole pandemic thing. I know personally, I noticed that my dry cleaning bill has been down a lot. Kind of makes me question whether or not I should be getting all these things dry cleaned as much, but probably definitely been not eating out as much, which is probably a big part of a lot of people's budget. And now that you've proven to yourself, I can fix some things at home and don't have to go out and eat all the time. So those are just some areas that I've kind of noticed in our own personal budget. Today, I just wanted to put together this quick video because I've gotten several calls from people who are seeing the effect of this COVID-19 and the effect that it has on the stock market. And yes, the stock market has been really wild since this whole thing started, which, in a lot of people's mind presents an opportunity to get started into investing. So I've gotten a lot of questions about whether or not they should invest or should you invest during these times. And so I had to spend some time thinking about that. And I've done some thinking and kind of here's what I've come up with. I'm actually working on this month's newsletter. So this made a great topic and a very timely topic to talk about is whether or not you should invest right now. Like I mentioned, the stock market's down almost 21% since its high in January of 2020. And yes, on the surface, that would make for an opportunity to invest. But I want to share with you four things that you must have in order and have in place before you start to think about investing. These four things are a must. The first thing is you definitely want to go ahead and pay off all of your high interest debt. Yes, I know you didn't see that one coming, right? You had to, right? You got to pay off your high interest debt. The United States Treasury said that in the end of 2019, the average interest rate on credit cards was somewhere between 14% and 16.67%. That's the average interest rate on most credit cards. Now that number is actually going to go down a little bit because they have lowered the Federal Reserve rate, but still 14% interest on your credit card debt. If you're having to pay that, then honestly, investing is not something that you should be considering at this moment. And here's why. And here's why I say that. Think about it. For every $1,000 that you owe in consumer debt at 14%, that's $140 in interest that you're having to pay to the credit card company. And so you would do yourself a great service by reducing your consumer debt. That's going to actually produce two things, right? You're going to automatically get a 14% return on your money. There aren't a whole lot of investments out there that's going to consistently give you a 14% return. So by paying down your debt, you're getting yourself a 14% return on that money, right? That's every $1,000, that's $140 that you're not sending to the credit card company. So that's one part. And then the second part is, guess what? When you don't have debt, you don't have the bills associated with it. That means you don't have to make that payment anymore, which means you have more money to invest. So step one is to pay down all of your high interest consumer debt. That would be credit cards, store cards. Why anybody would have one of those, I don't know. Any personal loans that you might have, depending on your car, how far you are, how close you are to paying it off, definitely you want to pay those down. The next thing you want to do, the second thing you want to do is to establish an emergency fund. Yes, establish an emergency fund. if this COVID-19 thing hasn't done anything it should have, at least giving you an idea of how vulnerable or not vulnerable you are financially. Because if you're not at work and you're not getting paid to work, then you really understand the value of having money saved, right? But if you're one of those people who, your job says just don't come to work, we're going to continue to pay you. It's still, there's never never a good time, never not a good time to have your emergency fund in place. So I want to recommend that you establish your emergency fund, right? Go ahead and open up a savings account offsite. One that I would recommend would be the Capital One Performance 360 savings account. You open it up online. They have an amazing interest rate on it. But again, we're not worried about interest too much. I mean, I'll take it. But my main goal is just I need to save money. And then just go ahead and have an automatic withdrawal going to that account and just get in the habit of savings. Because otherwise, where's this money going to come from to invest if you're not even in the habit of savings, right? The third thing is to take advantage of free money. Free money. Somebody say free money. Did I say free money? I said free money. Now you're probably wondering, what is he talking about? Where am I supposed to get free money? Well, one place that you can get free money is by investing in your company's sponsored retirement plan, better known as your 401k. If you are not participating in your company's retirement plan, I would argue that you're not ready to start investing, right? Because that is the very first and the safest and easiest place to start investing. And furthermore, participating in the company's plan, you should at the very least, do what they match. At the very least, if you're not doing what they match, then you certainly are not ready to invest, because that's the free money that I was talking about. Think about it. If your company matches you $1 for dollar at 6% of your income, why aren't you doing that? That means that for every dollar you put in, they're going to add $1 on your behalf. That's like 100% return on your money. Now, I've been in investments and financial services arena a long time, and I've never seen an investment that gives you an automatic 100% return on your money as soon as you put it in there, right? That just doesn't happen. But your company's giving it to you. So you at least need to be maxing out your company's retirement plan up until the point where they match, and maybe even a little more. If you can do 10%, that's ideal. That would be ideal. But think about it. A 100% return on your investment. In other words, to get 100% return on your investment, you would have to average 20% each year for 5 years before that investment would give you 100% return on it. So we're talking 20% each year for 5 years. And here your company is providing you with a 100% return on your investment right away. And then the last thing in this video, I don't want it to be too long, is to educate yourself, people. Educate yourself. It makes me kind of chuckle when someone calls and says, or texts and says, hey, I'm thinking about investing. Is this a good time? And my response would be, sure. I mean, it's always a good time to invest if you have the money to invest and you don't need it. That's whether the market's high, low, or whatever. It's a great time. And then I respond, yeah, it's a good time. And then they go, well, what should I be investing in? And my thing is mutual funds. It's an easy way to get it started. And then the next response from them is, so where do I get one? If that's you, you're not ready to invest. I want you to spend some time educating yourself on investments. Understand what a stock is. Understand what a mutual fund is. What is a bond fund? Do I need a bond fund? How do bond funds work? How do mutual funds work? There are a lot of tools out there online. There are a lot of websites you can go to, a lot of articles you can read. But the thing is, you want to do is spend some time understanding the investment, and then spend some time understanding who you are, because investments do have risk associated with them. And you got to understand what your risk tolerance is. And so I would say this: turn off Netflix, get off Hulu, stop Facebooking and Twittering and whatever. Spend some of that time reading some articles on investments and how they work before you consider jumping in, because it does take time. Remember, wealth is built over time, not overnight. So for those of you who are thinking about investment, these are the 4 things. Let's recap. Number 1, pay off your high interest credit card debt. Number 2, establish an emergency fund. Number 3, take advantage of the free money. Participate in your 401k. And then number 4, educate yourself. Spend some time. Now, what I will do is I will put together other videos on investments, just some basic things, and I will upload them to this YouTube channel right here. So if you are interested in learning some of those things, just subscribe to the channel. And that way, when I put those out, they'll just pop up and you'll be able to watch them. I don't know that I'll put them all on Facebook and say, hey, I got a new video out, but I will work on some short videos on the basics of investing for you guys. So again, thank you so much. If you want to know more and learn more about some financial matters, don't forget I have an online class. It's at mymoneyuniversity.org. That's mymoneyuniversity.org. Hey guys, thanks so much. Hope this information was helpful.